There's a Hebrew word, a word for which there's no precise equivalent in the English language. And that word is shalem. It's more of a concept or an idea. It represents a state of being whole and new following an existential challenge or crisis in life. Jacob was shalem when he woke up from his dream, having wrestled with God and the angels with a new name and a new purpose in life. I have come to understand shalem as the ultimate place of gratitude and trust following an unimaginable personal crisis. My journey to wholeness and purpose, to shalem, has been, as I suspect all of ours, are highly improbable. I discovered it. It was not planned. You see, I've spent most of my adult life as a lawyer, a consumer advocate. Actually, exactly 1 week from today, July 1st, I'm going to mark the 45th anniversary of the day I walked into work in 1970 for Ralph Nader. I've been an Army JAG lawyer. I've run and owned a business. I have been a Washington policy wonk. I've even been a bit of a telecom guru back in the day. That's when I first met Jeff. And now, as I begin to enter the 8th decade of my life, I'm an actor and a playwright. I've written and I now perform a play I've written called The Actual Dance. And The Actual Dance is an expression of my journey from confronting my worst fear in life to finding a new place of wholeness and meaning. So I'm going to share an excerpt from The Actual Dance. There is a dance that one day each and every one of us will dance. And that dance takes place in a grand ballroom with a fabulous orchestra. The orchestra, I think, actually plays whatever song that the dancers themselves want to hear. And even though I have been to so many of these events, and even though I have the routine down pat, even so, I don't think I can actually recall a single tune ever played by one of the orchestras. You see, you can attend one of these dances as a guest of the dancers. Or you might just end up in the gallery watching as someone you know or love is dancing. You don't get to dance yourself, though, until either it is your turn or you've been invited to be the dance partner of someone you love. You know, when it's my turn to dance, I want to dance with the person I've loved most in this world, and if it is her turn first, I want to be her dance partner, and I want us to dance a waltz. A slow, beautiful, elegant waltz. It's the spring of 2000, and it's the first time ever I experience an orchestra forming. And I have to admit, it scares and confuses me. It all begins with Susan updating me about her annual checkup. "Everything's fine, Sam," she tells me. And then almost as an afterthought, a classic Columbo moment, if you will. "Oh, and just one more thing, Sam. The doctor wants me to see a surgeon to check out something she felt in my right breast. Now, Sam, she doesn't think it's anything to worry about. It just felt funny to her." Well, I'm surprised, but I'm not worried. You see, it's going to be Susan's 4th breast biopsy. "Don't worry," I try to reassure her. "Remember, Susan, you had a mammogram just 2 months ago, and it was normal. Here, let me see if I feel anything." Humor and sex fix everything. This biopsy, unlike the 3 previous ones, is going to be done as an outpatient procedure. And the doctor's words? They're strange, a new vocabulary that I don't understand immediately. "Stage 3, he says. Why stage 3? Well, because of the size of the tissue with cancer and because there are no margins. Margins? What are margins? Well, remember, we didn't actually find a tumor, he reminds me. We just removed some breast tissue. A margin would have been where the cancer ended and normal and healthy breast tissue began. But in what we took out of Susan, there was no normal, healthy breast tissue. I now know what these words mean. You see, Susan's mother died of metastasized breast cancer at the age of 56. Susan is 54. I understand that the outcome is inevitable. I cannot explain why, or maybe better said, but I can't justify why, but I cannot leave Susan alone. I cannot imagine Susan going through this alone. Now, my job is to be here with her in this room. My cot sits near the floor on the right side as you face the bed, and in the opposite corner on the same side of the room, I've set up a small chair and a table with a computer. I've got one of the few wireless modems on the market in 2000. I told you I was a bit of a telecom guru. So I can work and be here at the same time. Susan doesn't react well to the anesthesia. She's nauseated all the time. I hold out one of these small semicircular metal pans for her to throw up. I steady her as she gets up to go to the bathroom with the IV stand and bandages and these 2 plastic bulbs hanging off of either side of her chest that are filled with the red liquid that I will soon learn how to empty. I don't want to be here. I don't do this stuff well. Hell, I barely changed the kids' diapers, and now I'm helping Susan vomit. I really, really don't want to be here, and yet I don't know where else I could possibly be. I need to talk to someone. I make an appointment with the psychiatrist I've seen every now and then for the past 20 years. It's been a while. He invites me into his office, and I sit down for what's going to turn out to be our only session, and once again, all of a sudden, I cry. And I tell him about the orchestra and the ballroom and the dance and how real it is to me. Secretly, I'm afraid I might be losing my mind, and I wonder, no. I hope that he'll give me medication. He did that the last time I was going through a transition. I think that the medication will erase the orchestra and change the future by changing what's going on in my head. And instead, he calls it a metaphor, and he says that it's beautiful. It never occurred to me that the dance was beautiful. I've always feared it as tragic and devastating. His words have a dramatic effect on me. Beauty, dignity. Rather than fearing the inevitable dance, I think I'm going to be able to get ready for the dance. I now understand that the actual dance will be the ultimate consummation of our love. I'm delighted to report that despite her grim prognosis and despite all the setbacks in Susan's treatment, that we're going to be celebrating our 49th wedding anniversary this August. And I am grateful for her recovery and her health, and I trust that the cancer is not going to return. And yet, I am also grateful that my journey has been enabled by her breast cancer so that I could find wholeness and a new purpose in my life. And I trust that when the next existential crisis and challenge, and there will be a next for me and for you and for all of us, that we can trust that we will be able to discover that there is a path to wholeness and renewal and to shalem in our lives. Thank you very much.